to another place.
Where?
Canada. Just go hide out in Canada.
Canada's got a fucking rising like white national movement happening. Dude, they make our white national movement look like jokes.
Oh, come on. They're sorry about that already.
They're not sorry. At least they're nice about it.
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry that you're not white. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Se fue con el tiempo. Dude, they deported George Costanza?
No. You never seen the episode where he makes up
Custis.
the human fund. Money for people. Money for people.
Y me preguntó. Is it just me or is there no sauce on this?
That's pretty fair. Better than the pizza in Somalia, that's for sure. I did take my Snickers off. I had Snickers on too.
I've been in this situation 2 times.
What time? What?
Well, one time I was in Beijing right before the Olympics,
Mm-hmm.
and suddenly they cracked down on all immigrants. Yeah, police on every corner just checking your documents.
Checking your ID?
Yeah. I had to dodge them. I had to run away from them a couple times. Cause it was just like laziness. Because I wasn't supposed to be working there. So there's that. But also, like, you're supposed to register with the local police within 24 hours of moving into a place. And I hadn't. And if you haven't registered with the local police, it doesn't matter like what your visa is or what your situation is, or if you're committing crimes, whatever. Like you're out the country. So when I saw them, I had to dip, but I still wasn't gonna go down and register with the police because I was just too lazy. And then later on in Zhuhai, there was another crackdown on immigration, and that was ultimately a huge part of the reason I just decided to leave China. But at that time, not only was I working illegally, but I was in charge of like 10 foreign teachers that were all working illegally.
Yeah, dude, his face is like blown up like a balloon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got fucking rocked, huh?
Yeah, what's the infection or the whatever happens when they break your jaw?
Oh, there's like a specific infection that happens?
No, it's like it's a response, you know? Your body trying to heal itself.
I don't know why I'm eating this pizza as though it's going to explode.
Huh?
I'm eating the pizza as though it's going to explode if I don't eat it as fast as possible.
But why is Stewie having sex with a grown woman? Why?
Can't start asking why when it comes to Family Guy. Because if you really think about it, there's a lot of bestiality. Car.
You going to whatchamacallit?
What?
To the Moose?
Oh, it's Monday. I forgot.
It is Monday.
Probably not.
Why?
Do you want the box for a plate?
I guess. Beer here. I'll dispose of her.
I don't really give a fuck anymore.
You leave tomorrow?
Oh, the next day.
You need to ride to the airport?
Kinda, but I don't know if I trust you guys to do that.
What time is the flight?
Very fucking early in the morning.
What's going on out there?
Well, they're turning on the floodlights, you know.
Who is?
Every night around this time they get turned on. I think they're on an automatic timer or they respond.
There's no flooding happening though.
It's not really a flood light. It's just a big ass bright light that has been disrupting my sleep for a long time. That's why I use this to block out the light in my bedroom. Yeah, that bedroom doesn't have a problem. But Ali, sleeping out here, man, it's if you don't have something to block this window, it's light as fuck all night in here. But there used to just be like scavengers in the alleyway all night, every night. So then they installed these lights and the camera with the microphone that I told you about, right? Who's that?
It doesn't say the name.
Anyways, not a local guy, not a famous guy.
Well, it's a local guy, not a famous guy.
Huh.
Did you know this is the only city where only women live and no man is welcome? Yes, you heard that right. And the craziest thing, this place has had a zero crime rate for 40. Happy Christmas. We can say that now, right? Merry Christmas, right? Thank God the woke years are over. You can finally compliment a guy who what a gorgeous pair of tits he has. And you can say Happy Hanukkah, right? Happy Hanukkah, right? Then you
That's something Mark Norman said a long time ago.
It's tough. The holidays are tough for Jews, right? It's tough for us. It is tough for us. Watching Gentiles pay full price. For fuck's sake. Can't you wait till the 26th? It's one day. You see, hi, everybody. Louis C.K. here. I just wanted to let you know that my novel, Ingram, that I wrote, you can still get it.
Is there comment between the pages? Do the pages stick together? Oh, look, the first comment. I ordered it. All the pages are stuck together.
Really?
Oh, my God. How original are my thoughts?
Oh, he asked for consent this time, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Any Somalis here? You guys here?
Uh-oh.
Huh?
Medicaid fraud, big deal. Give them credit. Biggest one in history. Give them credit. I blame the government. I blame us. We brought them here. You can't import a bunch of Somalis and not play to their talents. You know, expect them to get regular jobs. They're pirates, dude. They're pirates.
This is a white guy?
We could have used them in the Gulf of America right now.
The honest papas.
Reporting Venezuela oil tankers.
Huh?
Somalis could knock that out in 3 seconds on a fucking raft. They don't need machine guns and a helicopter. They just need a Titanic piece of wood that Jack was on. And surf right up. Take that whole ship with a flip-flop and a stick. You know, I really feel bad for is Ethiopians. Because they look like Somalis. So right now, they're really at risk of being mistaken for a Somali by ICE. You know what they got to do, I think, is like when I used to, you know, when I was in college, I traveled Europe. And at that time, you know, Canadian kids would put a Canadian flag on their backpack because Europeans hated Americans so much because of their foreign policy that the Canadians didn't want to be mistaken for American kids. So they put the Canadian flag on there. You know, I think the Ethiopians got to do something like that just to avoid ICE, you know, maybe just like hold one piece of rice, just walk around, just one piece of rice.
Hold one piece of rice.
Maybe a couple flies on the eyeball, something that just like that. It's actually a different group. Any Somalis here?
He really slam dunked on the Ethiopians, didn't he? I'm going back to 1991. I'll keep that Black Hawk up. Let's go to our friend Ali.
About what? About a ride to Moose?
So in this dream, I'm like stealing from the target, right?
Yeah.
But I know ICE is there. Like I seen ICE, and they're like, oh, they're not after me. So I go in there and start stealing because the target's like, oh, we don't care,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you gotta get to like 10,000 before they carry something.
It was something like that. I don't know what was going on, but I had a backpack. Ali had a bag there. Ali's like, hey, look at the keys. They detained me at this point. And I like just throw my bag to him. I say, just don't realize what I'm doing. They're like, hey, get back over there. I'm like, all right. And as soon as they turn around, I like run for it.
And then you woke up from your dream and then you went back to sleep and then
I'm like in the street running, help, and they're chasing me. And then I woke up. You know, and yeah, that was it.
and you go back to sleep and your dream resumes, but you're in Somalia now.
No, I wish. Unfortunately, that was it. Yo, I told Ali not to eat all that chocolate, man.
There was hardly any left. There was like 2 pieces left, and I didn't care at all that he ate it. I was just giving him shit. Oh, you ate it, and I blamed him for it.
I told him not to get so I could eat it.
I mean, I truly didn't care. I was just giving him shit.
Yeah, there was like 3 pieces.
Yeah, there was nothing
2.5 pieces left in there. I'm sure if you wanted them all, you would have ate it all.
Yeah.
Ah,
You have a sweet tooth.
late night.
That's what Ali says about you.
Who?
You have a sweet tooth.
Who said? What did he say that?
He said that. I don't know.
You just making shit up now, aren't you?
No, he said that shit. He said, yeah, Mo has sweet tooth, good dick, and sweet mouth.
This is like we're starting again. Hi, everybody. It's Louis C.K. and I just wanted to remind you that you can buy Ingram, my book, on Amazon for Christmas, and it's still. Hey, I'm not fucking finished. I'm not fucking finished. Can you check your texts? If you check your texts, you're gonna stop the video. I don't. Let's not do this now. Let's not do this now.
What a piece of shit this guy is. Even when he's trying to be funny, he's a piece of shit.
It's a skit, bro.
Well, yeah.
What, did you not watch Louis?
It'll take 30 seconds.
That's before I knew he was jacking off on people. When did the allegations or the accusations come out? In 2015?
When did the accusations come out, or when did the actions occur? Which?
Oh, the actions occurred like in 2003 to like 2019. He was doing that shit.
Was he really doing anything was he really doing All right. I'm very confused about the purpose of my live streaming at this point. I keep doing it because I mean, the plan was I just want to document everything, which is fine. But at a certain point, you start to eat your own tail. And it's sort of like, what are we documenting? I'm documenting my documenting. I'm just documenting the documentation. All I'm doing is documenting things. So then all I have to document is the documentation. But I need to. But yeah, I guess the thing is, like, as much it's right now, it's like, what the fuck am I live streaming for? Why am I doing this? This is pointless. But then, like, when I'm in Taiwan, and if I ever think I want to remember what my life was like in America, or what was those last few days like before I left, or whatever, like, where was my head at? Now that I'm a completely different person because I've been in a completely different culture for 6 months or for a year or for 5 years or who knows how long, right? Or like maybe I'm in the middle of a war. Maybe I'm hiding out from a fucking drone that's trying to hunt me down and kill me, and I'm just listening to my headphones, and my life is flashing before my eyes, but instead of it being like a mental phenomena, it's me watching my own live streams. Like these live streams that I made 3 years ago. I made the video with Mo and my like explanation of what I wanted to do with the reality sitcom, and then some of the things with Obzi, and then with Rick, and now Rick is gone, but we still have an hour-long live stream with the man that I can go watch anytime for the rest of my life. Or, the one of my dad where I talked with my dad for 3 hours or something like that, or, for 1 hour. And it was like, wow, it's like, because that was sort of like a important memory in my life, that conversation. And I don't have to like rely on my memory to about what it was like. I have the whole thing. I can literally listen to the whole conversation anytime I want to. So again, yeah, it's like it's at this moment it's not making sense. What am I even doing? But a year from now in Taiwan, maybe I'll be like, oh yeah, I would like to like go back and remember what was my life in America even like. Assuming I'm still there, hopefully I am. I sure hope a year from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now, I'm in Taiwan with an ARC and a job and everything, Look at this motherfucker with it. I'm gonna go get a puff on his smoke. Go get a puffy puff. Am I? No, I don't care. I don't fucking care. Smoking sucks. I'm done with cigarettes. I'm done. But especially like the last one, the one on the other channel, because this channel is meant to be just my garbage bin. It's for like long, rambly live streams. It's for AI slop. It's for what else do I do on here? Just any videos that I'm not sure whether they're good or not for the demos. But the other one is meant to be cleared by the marketing department. Everything on there should be like marketing material ready is the idea. So live streaming on that one makes me kind of nervous because I don't want to run afoul of my own rules.
You talking to AI, sucking a wall of water again?
Yeah, no, I'm talking to myself. Oh. But myself in the future. Mm-hmm. So that's a different guy. It's a totally different person. I was just saying, I don't know why I'm doing these live streams anymore, but I'm thinking like a year from now, 2 years from now, I might be in Taiwan, hiding out from a Chinese drone. And I'll be like, oh, what was my life like in America? And then I want to watch it, Just like that 1 hour live stream with Rick. At the time, it was like, why are we doing this? Nobody was watching it. It's pointless. But it's like, yeah, now I have that 1 hour of, if I ever want to go spend some time with Rick, I could just turn on that live stream and watch it again.
Yeah, I don't think that, yeah, sure. Poor guy is like not even his body's still warm, and you're over here talking about spending time with him via live streams.
Well, isn't that what you should do? Is like remember people when they pass? You remember them, right?
You feed that in AI and make them a living model.
Oh yeah, I should do that, shouldn't I? I actually do have like an AI bot that responds to itself as, I think it introduces itself as Rick. All right. So I do, yeah. So like, but when I'm on the other one, like I feel this obligation to then go watch all the videos. I kind of just want to. I kind of want to listen to Taiwanese news because I haven't really listened to any since the terrorist attack. But I should get packing. I should
Did
pack.
they catch the guy?
Well, they said that he fell off a roof and died.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, but the Chinese news reported that an hour before it happened.
Yeah, I don't believe it. That seems fishy.
Very fishy.
What do you think happened? It was a MK Ultra hitbot.
I don't know. There's one lady who came out with a video saying like that the reason why, like the Air Force, the Chinese Air Force, they had to purge all these generals,
Yeah.
and the reason was because like the leadership realized that like their planes and their bombs like are not real.
Mhm.
They're just fake, and the money has been fucking embezzled.
Yeah.
And then they made fake missiles and fake airplanes, and then showed them to the leadership, and then took the money and hid it in Switzerland,
Mhm.
which is normal for how Chinese operate, right? So
Who took the money?
the generals, the military generals, yeah, like the people that are supposed to be buying the weapons and assembling the weapons and stuff. And they fill like the missiles, they fill them with water instead of rocket fuel. I mean, imagine how much does a nuclear weapon cost? And hopefully it'll never be used, right? So what if you sell them a fake nuke? You could be a fucking billionaire selling fake nukes. Just send the money. Like, oh yeah, it's
Because you're never gonna test it, I guess.
and hopefully it'll never. You're right.
Oh, that'd be a funny doomsday.
Right. China launches 7,000 nukes and then none of them go off because they're all filled with water.
That'd be fucking hilarious.
So she was saying like they had to purge all these Air Force generals, and the reason is because they found out that all these weapons are defective because of they embezzled the funds for them. And so they're testing like their backup plan because they know their Air Force isn't going to be able to take Taiwan. So now they have to see whether or not their like brain control technology is going to be enough to control Taiwan. But they don't like have to actually take it over. Like what they need to do is like surround it, blockade, and then create chaos on the island, and then like try to manipulate the election. Because the other party, like the blue party, China controls them. So all they have to do is get the blue party win one election, and then the blue party just invites the Chinese onto the island. Yeah.
The blue party's good.
I mean, if you want Taiwan to be taken over by China, then yeah, the blue party's pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, and they have political power in Taiwan?
Well, they used to be the dictatorship. And then they
now they're like the independent party of Taiwan?
No, the independent party is the one that's in power right now.
Oh.
Now they're like the opposition party. But China works with them now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, you're going into some turbulent waters there, aren't you?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I was...
Escape this fucking dystopian future anywhere you go.
Well, I mean, I've been pretty suicidal over here in America, so why not go somewhere where I might get blown up by a drone?
Let's go to Taiwan with you, man.
You know, because I told my therapist that I've been suicidal, and he told me like get creative. I was like, you mean like if I get creative, like I won't feel like killing myself? He's like, no, just kill yourself in a creative way.
That's funny. He said, "Don't be hack about it."
Yeah.
He said, "Don't be hack about
Just
it."
don't do it in a boring way.
Don't do it now, Joe.
Okay, I should try to pack or something. Let's pack. Do a little bit of packing. Pack like I'm from Pakistan. Pack like I'm Tupac. Is my window open? That would explain why it's cold in here. my window in here. Close the inside window down. All right. Time to decide what to bring along and what to say goodbye to forever. Although if there's a delay at the baggage claim of Denver International Airport, I'll be saying goodbye to all of it forever. This is a kind of a nice suitcase in a way. In a way. Packing sucks. Packing is not a fun activity. I just remembered that. All right, let's keep listening to SEO videos.
What I will do is delete that and update it with this new link. There we go here. So this is a page on my own website, hence why it says owned asset. And this is basically one of the assets that's getting pulled in for best SEO experts to follow in 2026. Now, you want to make certain that you actually have a lot of these. So, for example, I've got my own LinkedIn page, I've got my own YouTube page, I've got Twitter profile, Medium article. Then we can obviously do podcasts or digital PR articles. So, for example, if Search Engine Journal or SE Roundtable, for example, was to actually mention us, then we've got my own website. So this is another website I could have used. Then here are the rented assets, right? So, for example, this is another website that mentions a very similar list. This is another website that again mentions a very similar list, and so on and so forth. Now, you can also do what's called press releases. So, for example, if we take a look at this. As you can see, this is a press release that was released on openpr.com. Now, as you can see, right, this is slowly building out the actual different consensus, right? So if there was only one article saying that I was the best SEO expert, I probably wouldn't be included in this actual list. But if there's like 25 different articles, again, mentioning my name, that will definitely help. Also, there are a list of different press release syndication that you can use. For example, OpenPR here. This is actually free to use. You can do one press release every 30 days for free. So if you are struggling when it comes to getting more consensus online, use this list, for example. This will definitely help. So that has been the 3 different modules when it comes to LLM/GEO, whatever you want to call it, SEO, right? If you guys have enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like and also subscribe. This has took multiple weeks on creating this actual sheet. So there are a few different tabs to this, but feel free to actually get it. There's a lot more that you can obviously use this sheet for. Also, if you haven't already, make certain to download my SEO.app. You can watch the live streams in there. We've got a few live streams before Christmas and obviously a load more in January as well. You can also ask questions. Or if you want to work with me, head over to cameronslash.com, fill in the contact form, and I will be in touch. Thanks for watching.
This video is about how to get out of building MVPs as a software development agency or software freelancer. In some other videos, I've spoken about why building MVPs is not a great long-term business as a kind of software developer or third-party developer where you're not a co-founder. And I'm not going to go into the details of why this is a really crappy and difficult industry to compete in. In fact, I will link the video below or something, but it's on my channel. I've made a couple of videos. One of the main reasons that makes MVP development a bad business is also that it's really hard to get out of. Your clients and your portfolio is startups. And so you start to build a portfolio portfolio around that, you build expertise, and you start kind of getting random contracts through that. And I know that my agency is itself evolving out of that, but I also get people who come across the plate and say, hey, I need help with an MVP. There's a few things I do. Number one is I try and advise them as honestly as possible that they need to have some kind of CTO in-house, even if they work with us. If they have a CTO who's like part-time and we work with them, that's still better for them. And I'm just transparent about this. I'm not like selling anybody to something that I believe is bad without telling them the downsides. I do this to be as transparent as possible about the downsides of building MVPs with agencies. But my mentality around this is like, if the work comes to you and you need that cash because you haven't found a new kind of lead pipeline elsewhere, then take the deal because you need to, as long as you know that you can still maintain some time to work on new offers for other niches. What that means in practice is like, if you need to take a deal, fine, sure, take it. Everybody needs to pay their bills at the end of the day. But the rules that I would try to keep in mind if I need to take one of these deals is, number one, I don't want to be competing on price. I want to be competing on quality and make sure that I have margin to hire people and I'm making money on that deal enough that I can use that money to fund other lead gen ideas and opportunities. And number two is like, I have to make sure also during the deal, I have enough time set aside to be building new offers and testing them and so forth, which is actually what I'm doing right now is testing a couple new offers. And we've got some leads coming in, and I will report more on the results of this in time. Just yesterday, I posted a video about a call with a lead that went quite well. The main takeaway idea is that if you're already in this niche and this is where you're getting money, don't just drop everything and stop making money. This is not what I'm suggesting. However, try and angle yourself and explore other opportunities. Like, see it as a thing where you're living on kind of borrowed time. If you want to make more money and really grow, I think going outside of that niche is really going to help you. And so this is, I think, just a better use of your resources rather than doubling down on marketing to more MVP founders or something like that. This is, at the end of the day, to optimize for a company that's going to like scale as a business rather than being a contractor who's just working on multiple startups at a time. I think if you're a software developer who wants to make money, finding ways to make money outside of MVP development is really worthwhile. If you want to become a co-founder, if you're looking to eventually become a CTO, then this is a different conversation, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend the same thing, right? Having experience in building MVPs is useful, although more technical experience with more senior companies is actually, I think, more useful. My suggestion in kind of like looking for other niches and not spending more time and expanding into the MVP market is especially for software contractors and agencies who are primarily service providers and make their money off of providing their services rather than trying to do a startup, which is a whole different beast. And I think you should only just do one company or startup. Doing two, I think, is a massive mistake. This is my opinion. And again, I'm not going to get too deep into that, but these ideas are also shared by like Hormozy and a lot of people who are far, far more successful than I am. So I think they're really valid. I hope this video is useful. I saw a guy comment under my other video saying, oh crap, I just got an MVP deal or something like that. And it's like, if you have an MVP deal, don't worry. Those deals, at the end of the day, they're fine as long as you're honest about the risks that your client is facing and you try to help them as much as possible. And if they're able to find a CTO.
All right. You know, the thing is that's really hard is that like hoodies are not as important in Taiwan. But I cannot let go of a good hoodie. I loves me a good hoodie. How do you say goodbye to a good hoodie? You know? It's so hard to say goodbye to a good hoodie. And I'll take with me the memory. All right. Figure out how these straps work. Is that how they work? Hey, what does this do? Wow.
Like, be happy for them and celebrate that, because at the end of the day, it's good for them. It's genuinely better for them in the long run. Your clients are people who you should be prioritizing over yourself. This is just the way that I think about business. If those are the deals that you currently have, make the most of it, but figure out how to steer your ship out of this. And that just means testing different offers. Maybe that is focusing on UI UX, maybe that's focusing on branding, maybe that is focusing on providing engineering talent for startups, right? And so whatever that is, there's lots of different ways to do it. And I will actually post more videos on this as I also gain more experience myself. running experiments right now. Also, don't stress if you need to grab these deals. This is kind of really the point is treat it as short-term cash, short-term opportunities, not long-term. They're not going to poison and entirely destroy your business if you take one of those deals. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do. Right. So great. That said, I will reply to any comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you found this video somewhat useful.
So this is a crash course on both of your top earned media methods. So earned media results in third parties talking about your brand. You get things like backlinks, you get branded searches, people searching with your brand name, you get higher click-through rates because people recognize your brand. You get social media shares, you get tagged, you get reviews, you get ratings, you get word of mouth recommendations, you have influencer mentions without paying the influencers. You gain a reputation so you can charge more money. And ultimately you get more sales and more conversions because again, you have more third parties talking about your brand across a variety of sources. So I'm going to let both of you introduce yourselves and then you can get started on your top earned media methods.
Awesome. Well, that was a really cool intro. We need to write that down because we're those are good talking points. So thank you. My name is Bridget Cisco. I'm the co-founder of Visibility on Purpose. My background was in advertising, sales, then publishing, and I found my way just finding out how to get interviewed, secure media mentions, and do it myself. So I've been a yoga teacher for a long time, and I was like, hey, I want to be interviewed. I want to get some mentions of me and my name. I wanted to link to my website, and I was just figuring out how to do it. And of course, Lydia and I came across each other on the interweb as ones do. We are not actually running this business in the same physical location, and Lydia came in with 10 years of PR experience. So I'll let her intro herself.
Yeah, so Bridget is, I feel like, the walking, breathing exact example of how anybody can do this and learn themselves. And so I saw that she was learning that she was sharing this a lot on the internet, and I've been in PR for years, and I felt like PR was so important. So I come from a background in music PR, then I switched over to beauty, fashion, and lifestyle over 10 years. So I've evolved over the years in the focus, but one thing that's true, whether you're a brand starting out or you are a well-established brand musician, I've worked with Grammy Award-winning artists and probably some products you have in your house that are sold at major retailers, is that PR is about staying relevant, staying newsworthy, being on the internet. We joke around that it's like owning your own digital market share online. And so when you have this type of PR, you are able to, like you said, kind of add, I want to say, fuel to the fire of all the different pieces of your brand growth strategy.
Cool. So Bridget, you were doing your own PR as a yoga teacher?
Yes.
What were you doing? What methods were you doing?
Yeah, so I love to be interviewed. I love speaking. I've also been speaking for a couple of years now. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to reach out to podcasts that I really, really want to be on. So that's really one way that it started. I would send a pitch, and this is good news for everyone. You write an email pitch. You kind of position yourself as who you are, your background, a little bit of your story, and some talking points because you want to give people something to work off of. So I was just simply sending some emails. I was sending it also to editorial magazines. So I wanted to be featured in Yoga Journal, Delish, and some main industry leading magazines. And I was able to do that myself also. Although it takes some time to hear back, but that's okay. And we can go into the details of how that works. But I just wanted to figure it out myself.
How long have you been doing PR for clients?
Personally?
Both of you.
I'll let Lydia go.
Yeah, for over 10 years. So I probably worked with, gosh, I'm kidding, probably around 1,000 brands at this point, because each campaign, I've worked with multiple brands at a time per campaign. Campaigns are around 6 months to 12 months. But in terms of Visibility on Purpose, we probably worked with over 100 brands at this point throughout our workshops, our courses. We've evolved our offers over the years. So at one point we were doing live courses and teaching brands how to do this themselves. Then we did a course, and now we have a kind of a mix of different offers like courses and PR plans. But yeah, we've been working with brands for a very long time, both in the service space and in the product space.
Okay, so you both probably have had this happen. Maybe you have a friend who has a business and they want to get more press, and they come to you and they just say, Bridget and Lydia, I sent emails, I didn't hear back, or I put out a press release, I didn't hear back. And so you've worked with so many brands at this point. What are the top mistakes that you see people who want to get brand mentions, who want to get press, who want to have a successful press release, who want to hear from journalists, who hear from podcasts? What are their top mistakes that you see people making?
Yeah, we'll say probably the biggest mistake when you're reaching out to writers, podcast hosts, whoever it is that you're trying to reach for the medium, is talking about yourself versus talking about how you can provide value to them. So, for example, I will see a lot of experts do this where they'll say I have a background in this and I went to school for this, and they immediately start with this whole kind of bio versus here's a story angle that's trending, newsworthy, and relevant. And here's how my perspective and my background can add value to that. So that's something we see a lot. Or on the product side, it's that they don't know how to position their brand in a way that is really showcasing all the cool things that they do. We joke a lot, if you can take your brand name or even your name and you can switch it out and put another brand in there and it makes sense, you haven't positioned your brand properly.
So true. And just to add on that, you said press releases. Those are very, very helpful to get the word out about something that's happening, maybe a big product launch. However, for many, many brands, that's not necessarily going to be the thing that moves the needle. And I think a lot of brands think that a press release is the only action within PR. So that's helpful to get the word out. It's very factual. It's very matter of fact. However, you're just hoping, basically, you're uploading this to the wire and you're hoping a writer, a journalist, reporter is going to actually take that story and write it. However, you also have the ability to do organic outreach where you're reaching out to the writer or a TV anchor or podcast host directly, sending them a direct email and saying, hey, I saw you write a story on, SEM. Hey, I come in here as an SEO expert. Here are some of the talking points. Would I be a good person to, be interviewed in an upcoming story? So that direct ask versus a press release is really different. And I think just like a lot of brands don't know the difference, so we just like to educate on it.
Yeah, people literally think PR. Sorry, people literally think PR means press release. Like it happens quite often where we get an email and they're like, "What do you mean?" And they're very confused. And so I get it. I mean, it's one of those industries, SEO too. You don't know until you kind of get there and you're interested in it.
This method of marketing is so effective, I had to make sure it wasn't against Google's rules before I kept doing it. It's a form of SEO I call compact keywords. Whereas most SEO focuses on putting up articles to answer questions, how, what, when, compact keywords focuses on putting up dozens of pages that sell to searchers who are actually.
Hi. And I'll take with me the memories. Man, I fucking hate packing. Packing sucks. It's just like endless bad decisions. Bringing too much is a bad decision. Leaving things behind is a bad decision. It's a bunch of decisions you'd rather not make if you could just avoid making them. Which is, I think, why almost every other time in my entire life I've ever moved anywhere, I just wait until the last second, because then you have no option. Like you make bad decisions. You're like, oh, I had no time. And it's hard to say, especially with these hoodies, because it's like, I do want to bring every single hoodie that I will want them. And honestly, it's kind of like, I'm kind of wrong about how it's like in Taiwan, you don't really need hoodies, because like, actually, it's almost like in the middle of winter time is like hoodie time. There, you don't wear like a coat, you wear a hoodie. But anyways, they take up a lot of space in a suitcase, and it's a tropical island. So like, do you really want to take up all of your? You should really want to grab all of your shorts and your t-shirts, things that you're going to wear when it's too hot, not your pants and your hoodies. I don't know. I still do have time. Kind of want to just try to get some work done and come back to this. But honestly, I don't think I could get any work done without. I would need to go for a walk or something. Maybe I should do that. Especially because earlier today when I did my thing, which usually I go out, I go for a walk, I drink coffee, and I plan my day out. But when I tried to do that today, the whole thing I just got wrapped up in grieving my friend that passed a couple days ago. So as much as that's a good thing, it's good to take a moment to reflect on a friend and his life and our friendship and his passing, and have a moment to feel happy about the times we had together, and to feel sad about his passing, and to not try to skip past that. But yeah, so I didn't actually get clear about what I'm trying to do, what I need to do today. So maybe I'll go and maybe I'll go do a redo on the whole day. It's only 5 p.m. It's dark outside. It feels like the day is over. But if it was summertime and it was 5 p.m., it would feel like the day has only just started. It's crazy like that. All right, whatever. I started my packing. We'll see what happens now. Oh, maybe I will play some Clash and keep because my phone is actually not even remotely close to charge. What's it at? Let's see. 26%. It's gonna be a little while before my phone is charged, so I might as well just chuck it up.
Looking to buy. These pages rank on Google and convert so much better than its compact keywords as a 13-hour deep course on to 30-minute lessons. Years. It works with from my experience, and I've done this a lot myself, the success comes down to the message. Like, you have to send a good message to a journalist if you want to hear back, if you want to be covered. And I mean, I'm sure listeners of this podcast are strangers to sending messages to journalists, and a lot of them have probably not heard back. And so, what are some things that what are the mistakes that people make when writing a message to a journalist? And we're not even talking about help a reporter out or source of sources. Just a cold message. I saw you talk about this. I'd be a good source. Like, let's talk. Like,
Yeah, I think a lot of it actually is on the follow-up. And a lot of people don't know that that's important. Writers are busy. They get lots and lots of emails, probably hundreds in their inbox a day. And think about all the different publicists and brands that are reaching out to them and wanting to get coverage or earn coverage. So you definitely need to stand out. Kind of similar to SEO, the title of your email needs to be something that's going to grab their attention. And then also following up and just saying like, hey, I sent you an email on Thursday. Just curious if you...
I don't actually know. Wait, why are we writing emails to journalists? If you do SEO, you're supposed to write emails to journalists a lot. Is that really a thing? So that you get media mentions, and then media mentions are basically citations / backlinks. Is that the idea here? I guess so.
You're interested in continuing to chat with me.
And to keep going on that too, I think one thing that people don't realize that not every writer writes about every topic. So it is worthwhile to do a little bit of research on the specific outlet, on that specific publication, and on that writer. And you can go onto Muckrack, and you don't even need to pay, but go onto Google, type in Muckrack, type in the writer's name, and you're going to see some of the articles that they have been putting out. So just having a little bit of that personalization, like you wouldn't want to pitch a meteorologist a story about a cooking class. So I think that's a big mistake that people make. They're reaching out to the wrong person. And as a reminder, it might be the wrong time. And that happens a lot, right? They just wrote an entire story on the top cooking products for Christmas. So they're not going to be adding you in maybe until Mother's Day or Father's Day. And the fact that you reached out, that doesn't go into the dark. We've heard from many, many writers, and we've interviewed them ourselves, where they have this incredible filing system in their email where they are able to categorize it. And if they need a source like you, they will come back if you have said something that they think is worthwhile.
Can you talk about the tools that you use every day and how you use them? And also, to what extent are you using AI to craft messages to journalists or to write press releases?
That's a really good question. I can share some of the sites that we use, and Lydia, maybe share some of the tools that you specifically use. You mentioned source of sources. You mentioned help a reporter. So those are still helpful. However, it's going to take a lot of time. You're going to get a lot of emails and you have to sift through it. So that might be something you ask a team member to do instead of yourself. There's also quoted and featured. And I think featured could be a really good website for many of the listeners of the show. I'm sure you're familiar with that.
How on the show?
Oh, so yeah, we love it.
Yeah, he came in, and then he bought Help Reporter. He came on to talk about that.
Exactly. Yes, we had a very similar conversation with him recently, and he has a lot of niche blogs on there. And you all know that niche blogs can be really helpful for SEO. Those kind of smaller publications that still need sources, and they're still going to link back to. So very, very helpful. And I would say those are the main ones that we would recommend for more of that inbound media opportunity where the media is actually coming to you. So we'd recommend using all those. And then there's other tools that I know Lydia uses personally.
Yeah, so let's see. In terms of tools, if I'm going for podcasts, Raphonic. I love Raphonic. So it's a site where you can essentially, you can search, but I think that the search is better on Listen Notes, which is another website that I use for podcasts. But I will on Raphonic use it to reveal emails. So it's a good source. It's pretty affordable. And then Listen Notes is so good for searching shows and kind of like perusing through the podcast world. I feel like it's like a Google for podcasts, a good search engine. And then you asked about ChatGPT. Okay, so
or any AI, yeah.
Or any AI, yeah. I love using AI as like a grammatical tool to help with that. I also love it to help shape or maybe streamline sometimes my perspective or my thought. I'll come up with something and put it in ChatGPT. I'm like, is this landing? Like, does this make sense to you? So kind of use it as like an editing tool to go back and forth. When it comes to actually coming up with the idea, it's still not a human. I've tried, I played with it a lot, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't land, and then I'll switch it. So I definitely use ChatGPT a ton. I'm not gonna lie, like I use it a lot, but it's more of how do I make this nice, tight, and streamlined so I can get my point across in a really, really efficient way.
Bridget, you mentioned Muckrack.
Yes, so that's extremely expensive as a decision. So I think for like big PR agencies that can make sense. However, for a smaller brand, that might not be something that they want to invest in. I will say I think Quoted is doing a really good job of being way more affordable for the smaller brand that maybe has a small team and they're not doing this all the time, but they do want to have someone in charge of this where you will have the ability to see those inbound opportunities coming in. They now have added podcasts, some product features. So I think I would recommend that as opposed to McGrath Decision. I think those are like the more old school platforms that people are familiar with. However, I think the price tag is pretty high on those.
What are your favorites? There's so many different press release services. So which ones are your favorite? Why do you like them? And then again, like just press release best practices and mistakes that everybody makes.
Okay, so for press releases, I have dove into a few companies outside of PR Newswire, but it's still my favorite. And I will say it's my favorite because it has a great support team. Like, I am that person that I will call multiple times. I've been doing this for 10 plus years. And I'm like, hey, it's good to go, right? It looks good on your end. And they do send like an edited version back, and they're very collaborative with you. So if you're going to pay a lot of money to send out a press release through the wire,
How much are you
I
paying
recommend PR Newswire. Ooh, it can be anywhere from $1,500 to $1,000 up to $5,000. It can also be, it's usually packages is why it's kind of pricey. You can send one, but they kind of get you on the packages. You know, they're like, well, you could send one for one photo for this amount, or you could send 5 throughout the year for this price. So I would definitely say play with the numbers, and hopefully they don't listen to this, but you can definitely kind of like negotiate. So I would say try to negotiate. And then you said best practices. Okay, so
Best practices and mistakes, because I mean I've seen a lot of bad press releases, and yeah,
Okay.
so like. But yeah, best practices, and then I don't know if you guys see a lot of mistakes on your end from clients, things that people have tried, and you look at it, and you're like, what were they thinking? Come on.
I'm kind of curious. Can I ask you like what are things you've seen? You can give me like 1 or 2.
So an example would be a headline that is so it doesn't appeal to anybody. Like, who cares about this? There's no reason to care about this headline. Or you're burying the story in way deep in the press release. Or it's just written with huge block paragraphs. It's so hard to read. No one's going to read it. The headline isn't interesting at all. So you lost people right away. And then the one thing that actually was interesting that could make the story pop off and go viral is way down at the bottom with like one sentence.
Okay, I love that. Thank you. So I think with press releases, like you said, big block paragraphs. You don't want to make it's already kind of like a corporate style, announcement. So you want people to read it. I would recommend trying to keep the paragraphs a little bit tighter. I love quotes in press releases, especially if you have something to share. It's like, let's hear from the founder, let's hear from the collaborators, or whatever the press release is about. And when you're sending out a press release, you want it to be something that's really important. So for example, I would recommend press releases for bigger companies, just because if you're a smaller company and you send out a press release, you're going to pay a lot of money and people don't know who you are anyway. So it's definitely one of those services where you probably want to have a following where it be a very interesting topic. And then you want to put in the subject line, or the subject line headline, it's like all the same to me, so like subject line and email, but headline, you want to put something that's going to grab people's attention. I think a lot of us are really good when it comes to social media, but when it comes to emails or writing a blog post or writing a press release, we get nervous and like forget what that's like. Exactly how you're putting on social media, some sort of hook, that's what you want to put in any sort of headline. So in the headline, you want to make sure that it is direct in what you are announcing, and also maybe going to entice somebody to read more. Then in the intro paragraph, it's funny, I kind of think about press releases, emails as like back in the day when we were in college and they said like, write a thesis statement. It's like you want to put in the intro exactly what you're talking about and introducing in the rest of the press release.
Also, don't make them like 5 pages long.
No.
People don't have time for that, and I think in our day and age, you need to be.
Okay. That's enough of that topic for me. Good stuff. Very good stuff. But that's enough of that for me, because I mean, here's the thing. It's sort of a topic I've never thought about before, and so it was interesting to like have a little rundown of what the topic is about and everything. But the issue is that until you're actually going to be doing something along those lines, until you're actually like going to be looking to get a press release or whatever, there's no reason to know a lot about it. There's no reason to, which is something it took me a long time to learn that. I used to feel like if there was something like that, like a podcast or whatever, that if I didn't listen to it the whole way through, I was going to like miss like some really important thing. But
My SEO tip for 2026 is to get yourself and your website and your business ready for the agentic web. If you've been paying attention in 2025, you will see that we've seen the agentic commerce protocol, the A2A protocol, the agentic payment protocol, all of these things lining up during 2025. And in 2026, I think we're going to see all of those things really come to bear for the wider web.
My SEO tip is to master your feeds and optimize all the data that we're passing directly into companies like Google and OpenAI. It's our opportunity to give concrete facts and clear instructions to those systems, and hopefully protect ourselves from generative results that could distort or wrongly reference us. So that's what I say. Take control of your feeds, find out which teams run them, which teams build them, and get them to start including your optimization
pivots into 2026. Invest heavily in proprietary data so that LLMs can use that data and then soak it up and then,
To continue on with that thought, when I was younger, I used to think that and I guess it was true. Like if everything that you choose to learn about or not learn about could affect the rest of your life. And when you're younger, the rest of your life is a long time, and there's a bigger, so it matters more. And I think the most clear example of this is when I moved to China the first time, and I stopped by my father's place in Denver, and I asked him if he minds whether or not if I take a book off the bookshelf. And he was like, yeah, take any of those books. They're all just books he hasn't even thought about or looked at for 20 years. He wouldn't even notice if they were gone, right? So there was 2 huge books that I wanted to read, both of them, but I wasn't going to pack 2 giant books. One of them was Henry Kissinger's On Diplomacy, and one of them was, I think it's called Secrets of the Temple, about the Federal Reserve. I can't remember the name of the author, but and I chose Secrets of the Temple. And I think that has influenced the course of the rest of my life, was influenced by that decision, because I was thinking about how the Federal Reserve works and how financial markets work. And if I would have been thinking more about how the State Department works and how diplomacy works, it would have influenced which classes I took and which people I chose as friends and what topics of conversation I had with friends and stuff like that. Even literally in Taiwan, in China, I was gravitating towards economic classes, and in Taiwan, I was gravitating towards economic classes, which maybe I made the wrong choice, because if you're thinking about diplomacy, at least there's more. It seems like there's more to be done there, because it's more of a soft, even softer of a science than economics. But so I think I just really put more emphasis on economics than on international relations, specifically because I chose that book. So anyways, that's a perfect example. When I was younger, I was always like, if I skip over a chapter or something, then it could influence the rest of my life. So I would just force myself to. But I also realized at a certain point, if you're not paying attention to something, it doesn't matter. If you're forcing yourself to read it or listen to it, but you're not paying attention, then it is a pointless waste of time. So you might as well stop.
Because the way the web is going is that it's going to be more costly to build content, and LLMs are going to run out of content to consume. So the more proprietary data you have, the higher the chance that you'll be able to broker deals with these companies.
So I have 3 SEO tips for 2026. Number 1, if you're in e-commerce, your packaging is not your landing page, because with machine vision, you better present that correctly. Customers are taking photos and asking questions. Tip number 2, get familiar with clickstream data, because if you're tracking prompts and trying to figure out your AI visibility, you have to confront your ideal prompts with reality and what people do, and that's with clickstream, okay? And number 3 is get comfortable with the technical side of branding. Handle that stuff that the branding department.
What is clickstream? If you ever watch this live stream, check out clickstream. Look it up.
Won't like hallucination containment. What do you do when there's brand drift, where features are made up? Who handles that? Who handles the bots and checking, hey, is this bot coming to train or answer a user question? That's on you now.
My SEO tip is don't forget about internal linking. Optimize your internal linking and not just backlinks.
My tip for next year is, of course, focus on indexation, because in the future you might have some issues with it because of all that spammy content out there.
My SEO tip for next year is focus on the tactics, on what will always work. We have just heard it at Google Search Central. Just do SEO, keep doing SEO, and you will be ranking in AI as well. And I really, really hope to have a Google Search Console for AI overview. So please, Google, just do it.
My SEO tip for 2026 is to actually bite the bullet and face your Google Analytics 4 or Adobe Analytics data head on. Organic is facing a lot of issues with lots of clicks, a lot of sessions, and the journey is becoming more multimodal. So you really want to be drilling down into advertising reports and looking at how much value and news brand touchpoints organic is driving to your website, and then which channels are then taking the preference through last click. GA4 is not the greatest, we all dislike, but it's time to actually start doing that and telling better data stories to stakeholders and to C-level.
Hi guys, I'm here to tell you my SEO tip for 2026 is SEO will be more exciting than it's ever been. We've got more services and more data to find out what users really want. So get smart, use it, long live SEO.
My tip for 2026, I think SEOs will start putting more emphasis on understanding their audience. So what I believe is going to happen is that there's going to be more attention paid to media consumption. So you think of who your audience are and who they are, where they live and what they do in a day. So, for example, you wake up, you have breakfast, what websites are you reading, what social media platforms are you going on, and then maybe you get in your car or you go on the tube to the office, then what podcasts are you listening to? So if you imagine that process throughout the day, I think more attention is going to be paid to who the audience is and where they're going to consume media, and then they're going to factor that into how to reach those people through different forms of content and then optimize for that accordingly. And then that's going to factor into understanding this messy middle, which ultimately helps us with optimizing for things like AI overviews and large language models.
So my top SEO tip for 2026 is, and guess what it is? Schema. It's always been schema. But next year, I think as LLMs get a bit more sophisticated with understanding what's under the hood in code, they'll want to save a bit on token optimization. They'll want to save those tokens and understand what an entity is, what the meaning of something is, in as much less time as possible. And I think by doing that, that's where schema comes in. It tells you what the entity is, it tells you what the context is, and then it can read the format and the structure and context of it.
To wrap up, I want to share my own SEO tip for 2026, and it is to every time that you do anything, create content, optimize content, and enable any section, take actions to improve the indexability, crawlability, rendering of your content, anything, is to ask if this is aligned with your brand. Is this on brand? Because realistically, we need to be much more mindful on what we invest our efforts on. It's not
Oh, I forgot about schema. I honestly kind of forgot about schema. That was a trigger that triggered something in me. I was immersed in schema before these guys moved in. Maybe that's what I need to get back to, is the schema. Maybe. The schema is the key to hyper-focus on SEO, and hyper-focus on SEO is the key to my business.
stopping to invest on informational top of the funnel content. No, it's making sure that that informational top of the funnel content is actually meaningful to our brand. It's very well connected with our product offering or service offering. That's the key here. And it should be a question that should be asked not only when you create new content or optimize content for that matter, but whenever you do anything to deliver an experience to the user that should be aligned to the way that you want to be recognized. And this also can be very well explained, not only on what you do on page, but with the alignment of your marketing efforts elsewhere as well. Digital PR, community management, we can see how a lot of the answers from LLMs, citations are coming from these external sources. So again, not only brand building, but brand optimization, entity optimization, alignment from a topical standpoint to create and optimize content in a way that is very well connected with your topical expertise should be a must. And is my tip for next year. If you want to keep up with the latest in SEO, don't miss out, and remember to subscribe to the SEO FOMO newsletter. Last but not least, I want to thank SimilarWeb, who is an SEO FOMO to London Read and Calling Mondays sponsor, and who are also sponsoring this video. Thank you very much. Until the next one, and don't forget to subscribe to avoid missing out.
All right, let's just get right into it because for the last decade or so, we've all been playing the exact same game. You create some content, you try to rank on search, and you fight for that click. But that entire model is on fire right now. It's fundamentally breaking down. Today, we're going to unpack.
Oh, wait, I forgot to look at my Feedbots thing. I should really check that.
This massive shift to what some are calling the zero-click future, and more importantly, what you actually need to do to survive past 2026. This right here. This is the one question that changes absolutely everything. See, it's no longer about using a search engine to get somewhere else on the web. More and more, the AI-powered search engine is the place. It's the final stop. And you have to ask yourself, if users never leave Google to come to your website, how do you even exist online anymore? I mean, think about it. The old game was pretty straightforward, right? We all fought tooth and nail for that one click because that click meant everything. It was your traffic, your leads, your customers. But in this new reality, AI just swoops in and intercepts that whole journey. It scrapes your content, it cooks up an answer, and it serves it directly to the user. The user's happy, their journey's over, and you did nothing. Zip, 0 clicks. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This is some sci-fi thing that's years away, right? Wrong. This isn't a prediction. This is happening right now. And it's being fueled by AI that is getting powerful at a speed that is just, honestly, it's hard to believe. Let's just look at a few examples of how wild these tools have already become. Get this, the new Claude Code update. It's not just writing little bits of code for you anymore. It can literally take over your browser like a native app, pop up in your Gmail, and start drafting replies for you. We're talking about automating really high-level tasks that were completely unthinkable just, a year ago? And it's not just helping with the work you already have, it's creating brand new things from scratch. You can now take a simple idea, use free Google tools like Notebook LM, and literally prompt an AI to build you a fully working, deployable software app. And it does it in like 10 minutes, all with zero coding skills.
All right, that video annoyed me.
Today we're going to talk about a chemical molecule you might often discuss but rarely truly understand, dopamine. Before we begin, I'd like you to ask yourself a few questions. Why are some days you full of fighting spirit?
Why are these videos? They're in Chinese. Like the heading is in Chinese. It's a Chinese account, but then it's in English. What is happening here? Skip this video.
Imagine you disappear for a month and your business still makes money. The secret is in this book. Shoot, one sec. I'll go get it.
I'm gonna take a nap.
It's The E-Myth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber. On the outside, this book looks like an early 2000s project made with word art and software. But there's 3 concepts in this book you've got to master if you want to be able to disappear for months at a time. Right now, you're what Gerber calls a technician, not an entrepreneur. A technician is good at the work, coaching, coding, building stuff. But that doesn't mean they know how to build a business. Gerber says there is a shift you need to make if you ever want to stop being the bottleneck. But what happens when you don't make that shift? Your business grows, but you just work more hours. You hit an income ceiling because there's only one of you and there's only so many hours in the day. You start to resent clients that you're supposed to be helping because every single one of them needs you specifically.
This video has my full attention at the moment. It seems like he's talking directly to me. Although he said you hit an income ceiling, I have not hit any income at all. But I do think I've hit a bottleneck in terms of just what is possible for one person in one day.
And some of the people you love. And you find yourself laying awake at 2 a.m. thinking about all the shit you need to do tomorrow. The worst part, everyone thinks you're successful, you're busy, you're making money, but you are trapped in golden handcuffs. But here's the weird part. You actually need to be a technician first. Let me explain. In my first business, I was a personal trainer. So I would wake up at 4 a.m., head to the gym, train clients until midday, then go surfing. Not for a second did I focus on building the business. And you know what? That was the right move at that stage. Because Gerber says you cannot skip being a technician. If you don't have the skill set, no one will take you seriously. But here's where people get stuck. They never leave that phase. A technician...
Okay, exactly. I feel like this video, again, it's just perfectly speaking to me. And this is why everybody's like, oh, you have to sell, you have to market, you have to sell, you have to market. No, you have to. I can't skip through the technician phase where I learn how to make the chatbots. If you don't know how to make the chatbots, then how are you going to sell chatbots to anybody? It just doesn't make sense. Or even if you sell one and then you go back to go make it and you're like, oh shit, this is going to take me 6 months. You know, like I have to not only be able to make them, but like constantly practice and improve my skill set. And unfortunately, this is something that didn't exist a few years ago. So there was no way to like be ahead of the game, really.
Evolve into what Gerber calls a manager. The shift requires changing from I'll do it myself to how do we do this every time. So how do you actually make that shift? It all starts with mindset. I know, woo-woo bullshit, but bear with me. The technician thinks, how do I do this? The manager thinks, how do we do this every time? The technician thinks, I can just do this faster myself. The manager thinks, if I do this myself, I'm stealing from the business. The technician measures in hours worked. The manager measures in systems built. Becoming the manager might just be the hardest thing you do, but if you ever want to take a holiday, it's an essential step. Here's how to start thinking like a manager. Tonight, instead of asking yourself, how many hours did I work today? Ask, did I improve or build a system today? The answer is no, you spent the whole day as a technician. Track that for a week, you'll quickly realize why you can't take a holiday. What's next after getting into the manager mindset? Well, you need to work on the business, not just in the business. This is one of the most overused phrases in business, but it is true. Your job is to build systems that run without you, but there's a problem. How do you actually stop being the person who does everything? Take a look at this from my business of me as a bad manager versus me as a good manager. As a bad manager, a client asks for a new CRM. I sit down and custom build everything from scratch. 8 hours later, it's done. Exactly how I would do it. A good system, client asks me for a CRM, an employee of mine pulls up one of my templates, fill in the specific details, deploys my pre-built workflow. 45 minutes later, it is done. Same quality every time. Boom. So what the hell is a system? A system has 3 parts. We've got the inputs. Client asks for CRM. That's my ingredient. Then we have the process. This is where most people fail. The bad manager has the process locked in his head. The good manager has it documented as a template anyone can follow, like my automation template. And finally, the output. A working CRM has been delivered. See the difference? We both got the same output, but the bad example, I was the system. In the good example, I built the system, all with the goal of taking the task and running it without me. Therefore, here's the test. If you hand your system to someone with zero knowledge, could they get 80% of your result? If yes, you've built a real system. If no, you are still the system. So what does documentation that passes that test actually look like? Well, here's an example, a real system from my client's business that I built. Notice it has a section for a Loom video walkthrough, so they can watch me do it as prerequisites, what they need before starting. Step-by-step process. Every single click is documented. Critical warnings where people normally mess up. Verification steps, how to double check if they did it right. Troubleshooting, what to do when things break. This took me 25 minutes. Now, anyone on their team can handle payment setup without asking the founder a single question. That is the difference between documentation that gets someone 80% of the way versus you just saying, figure it out. But if you don't have systems in your business, either 2 things will happen. You will reach a cap of what one single human can possibly work and flatline your growth forever, or you'll crash and burn, prove everyone who doubted you correct, and your bullies will laugh at you. Which brings me to something that kept me up at night when I first read this book. I'd built a business. It was paying for our lifestyle. Everything seemed great. I asked myself one question that changed everything. What if something happens to me? What if I was unable to work? What if I got hit by a bus? Would everything just end? The answer was terrifying. Yes, because I hadn't built a business. I built a job that only I could do. Gerber says you should build your business in a way that it could be franchised, even if you didn't plan on doing so. Building your business like it's a franchise makes you replaceable, which sounds scary, but it's actually the goal. Because if you can't be replaced, you can never leave. The question you can ask yourself now is, if I had to teach someone else to run this exact business, what would the manual say? Now, I'm going to show you what this looks like for my business, a content-driven automation agency. Your business might be different, but the process is still the same. Here's the thing. You don't do all of these all at once. You start with one. Which one, might you ask? thing that you do the most often. Let me show you what documenting that system actually looks like. How do I decide what to make? I look at comments on past videos and questions my clients ask. What's the form? Well, every video follows a problem, solution, and call to action. How often? Well, I aim for a video a week. That's filmed on the week. Where does it go? YouTube. It's not that complicated. I just wrote down what I already do. Some parts of this could be done by someone else. Now, what else does my business need? It needs lead capture, calls to actions, forms, nurture sequences. It needs sales, qualifying calls, closes. It needs fulfillment, onboarding, delivery, building. But I didn't document all of these in one day. I started with content production because I do it weekly. That gave me some practice. Then I moved on to the next one. So here's your action step. Pick one thing you do most often in business. It could be client onboarding. It could be content creation. It could be sales calls. Whatever you do daily, monthly, weekly, just start there. So how do you create documentation like this? Here's the easiest way I found. Pick one thing you do repeatedly. Tomorrow, when you do it, record a Loom video and talk yourself through doing it as if you were narrating what you were doing. Take the transcript of the Loom, put it into ChatGPT and ask for a dot point version of it. That's your first documented system. Building these out might seem incredibly daunting. And here's where most people get stuck. They don't know which system to start. They don't know what level to document or which tools to even use. That's one of the reasons I built out a course on how to automate your business and implement systems so that when it does come down to documenting it, you actually know what you've built in it.
Right. So that's kind of what the whole idea is with these live streams in part, is that I work on the live stream and then I can ask Gemini to turn it into a document of how to do the process, basically. Let's say there's so much, I'm live streaming so much at this point that I'm burying anything good with under all like hours and hours of this bullshit, but whatever.
If you'd like to check it out, it's in the link below.
So this is how we used to build out topical maps. It used to be on a Google Sheet and it would look something like this. You might even have like a tick box down on the right-hand side. And this is how you would basically gain topical authority. Now, this is very hard to understand, especially if you're like a beginner starting out in SEO, or maybe you've never even built a topical map before. However, this is how I build out my topical maps. I like to structure it into services. We've also got locations. We then also break it down into general care, restorative services. Now, this is obviously going to depend from industry to industry, but as a starting out example, this is a really good example to follow along. Then we've also got our content guides here. So these are mostly to do with our blog articles. So these would, again, just be individual pages that we would have on our website. And if we scroll down to the bottom, the whole purpose of topical authority is you want to cover 3 different angles. You want to cover your main services when you've got like a location, just a thumbs up there as well. You then want to cover locations, so going after specific towns. And the next is also going after content guides. So these would be like your blog articles. These would be more informative articles that you would want to publish on your website. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to build out a topical map like this. This is also really good, especially if you're working in a pretty large team as well. Maybe you understand topical maps, but maybe your team doesn't. It's just a really easy way to actually plan stuff out and actually map stuff as well. Also, if you haven't already, download my SEO.app. We have got some pretty nice live streams that are going live in the next couple of weeks. We've got community section, we've got courses. So if you're ever struggling when it comes to SEO, you can always ask the community in there, and I'm always active in there as well. So the first step when it comes to building a topical map is we want to categorize 3 different pages. We've got service pages, we have location pages, and then we have got blog articles. This way we are covering what's called top of funnel, middle of funnel, and also bottom of funnel articles. So this is basically what our funnel or the articles on our website should actually end up looking like or being structured. So top of funnel is basically non-advertising. There's a lot of informational style articles. So for example, if we were to take a look at are dental implants painful, that is very much an informative article, right? Someone is in their information style phase and they're just doing some research. Then we have got what's called middle of funnel. So potential customers seeking information regarding services. So for example, something like this would be middle of funnel, dental implants versus dentures, right? Invisalign versus traditional braces. You are basically comparing 2 services, and then the user will basically pick to see what is best for them. And then bottom of funnel is very much any of these. So it could be your services. So it could be like private dentist near me, dental implants, or it could also be locations as well. So dentist near me in London or dentist in Manchester, for example. So this first step when it comes to finding these articles is actually searching for our keyword and taking a look at a few different competitors. Now, when you're pinpointing competitors to basically reverse engineer and grab their topical map, a few things that you want to take a look at is if they are a directory style website, like for example, bestlawyers.com, if you check these guys out, they're basically like a directory for law firms. You don't want to get listed on there, or you do want to get listed on there, but you don't want to do a reverse analysis against these guys because it's an unfair advantage. Same goes with these. Again, this is another law firm style directory. Whereas if we take a look at these guys, HJA.net, these are very much a law firm. They offer a lot of different services, and they also have got a lot of blog articles as well that we can take a look at. So this would be a website that I would be taking a look at when it comes to reverse engineering their actual ranking web pages.
This is another website that I would take a look at. The purpose when it comes to building a topical map is you want to try and get as much data in from your competitors because they're already ranking for the keywords you're trying to rank for, right? So as you can see here, this is another website that I would be taking a look at, their service pages. They've also got like location pages here as well, which is always quite nice. And then they've also got some case studies as well, and they've got a few blog articles as well. Now, once you actually have a website that you are happy with, you like their actual services, what I recommend doing is installing a Chrome extension called Link Clump. This basically allows you to copy any of their web pages, and basically it's just really easy when it comes to reverse engineering topical maps. Now, a few settings on Link Clump that we need to actually do first, right? What you want to do is once you've installed it, click on Edit, and then where it says Select Action, you want to click on Copied to Clipboard. This basically allows you to copy the URLs. Then where it says Copy Format, we want titles only. Click Save. Then if we go to any website, if we hold down the letter Z on our keyboard and click and drag, basically this is going to allow us to grab all of their service pages onto ours. Now, obviously what you would want to do is any services that you don't provide as a law firm or whatever industry you're doing this for, you're probably going to want to remove some of these. So for example, you might say, well, I don't do immigration, I also don't do insolvency, and I also don't do tax, but I do everything else. So we can obviously do that. The next step would be doing this for like business services as well. So again, if we just hold down Z on our keyboard and just click and drag, we can again just copy and paste all of these different service pages through to our topical map. Now, another section on this website is obviously the locations as well. So they do have locations, and again, very similar thing. I'm just going to hold down Z and I'm just going to click and drag, and I'm going to copy these into our location pages. Now, the next step is to find the blog articles. So this next step is where things get a little bit time consuming, right? I'm going to show you guys a few different examples. I'm not going to do it for the entire list, but this is probably going to take maybe 45 minutes. Again, it depends on how many services you've got and stuff, right? But as you can see, we've got our list of service pages, we've got our locations, and this is where our blog articles or our supporting articles come in. Now, the best way that I can describe supporting articles is, think of it like this. If we are going after, let's say, the keyword Court of Protection lawyers, you might want 2 or 3 blog articles. If you're going after something that's a little bit more competitive, you might need more supporting blog articles. So what I recommend for you to do on this, right, is do /, your competitor's domain name plus or space the actual keyword you're trying to go after. So if you're going after like divorce lawyers, this would be divorce lawyers. If it's like a dentist practice you're doing this for, this might be like teeth whitening. If this was, let's say, laser eye surgery, this would be your actual the keyword you're going after. So in this case, we're going after divorces, right? And this is where I would be trying to find as many different question-based articles or as many different articles to do with divorce law. So for example, we've got no-fault divorce solicitors. So I would copy that and actually use that as a blog article. So I'm just going to remove this. So we would have no-fault divorce law solicitors. That would be the article that we would actually want to go after. Then we have got the divorce process. So this is talking about the actual process of the divorce. So what are the grounds for divorce? Frequently asked questions about divorces. How long does a divorce take? So again, this would be another page that I would, or a blog article that I would have. Then we've got, does a divorce revoke a will? So again, we're just going to copy this and then paste it into here, right? So these, right now, we have got 3 different blog articles, and they are all supporting our divorce page. Now, obviously, you're going to want to do this for each individual service. So, for example, if I was going to be doing this for, let's say, wills, right, I would then do this. So I would remove the divorces and I would maybe just have wills. And then again, I would have all of these blog articles, the ones that I actually think are important to actually have. Some of these might not be as important. It very much depends on how far you want to expand on your actual blog articles as well. Right, so this is something like what you should be aiming for. So I made it a little bit easier because I have color coded it, but again, it's not going to matter in about 20 seconds because we're going to completely visualize this using Claude. But we have got supporting articles for family law, we've got some supporting articles for wills, then we've also got some supporting articles for divorces. Now, in some cases, if you're going after like family law, that's a pretty hard to rank for keyword. So you will need, it's natural, you will need more supporting blog articles. Whereas, for example, something like wills and probates, not many people might be going after, so it might be less competitive. So in that case, you might have less supporting blog articles. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say you need 10 supporting articles for each of your services because that's a complete lie. In some cases, you might need 10, some cases you might need 15, some cases you might need 40. So all I have done here, this is a very simple prompt as well. Can you turn this into a visual topical map for my website using code? It should be easy to follow and track. And then all I've done is I've literally just copied each of these service pages, pasted them in. Then I have copied the location pages and pasted them in, and then also blog articles as well. Now this might take maybe 1 or 2 minutes for Claude to actually create the topical map, but it's well worth it, and it's pretty easy to actually follow along which pages you need, which pages you haven't done, everything like that. So as you can see here, it has just finished. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on Publish Artifact, so it is completely full screen. And if we take a look, it's categorized everything for us. So we've got services, so we can even just click service pages.
These are all of our services. We've got locations as well. And then we have got blog articles. So we can actually open up these blog articles. So this is all the blog articles to do with family law. We can then collapse this down. We've got all the blog articles to do with divorce law. And you see how I was saying like before, that family law, for example, has got 15 blog articles, but child arrangements as a topic actually has 3 articles, for example, right? This is completely down to your website. It's not like a one-size-fits-all strategy. But as you can see here, again, it's really easy to follow along. It's completely categorized stuff into service pages, location pages, and also blog articles by topic as well. If you've never built a topical map, it's literally never been as easy to build a topical map and also categorize everything for your website. Now, obviously, this is going to slightly change based off of the prompt that you give it, based off of the actual articles and stuff like that, but you should be able to replicate this in a very similar way, especially if you actually spend the time and effort on actually creating the blog articles, the location pages and service pages as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Like what I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already downloaded MySEO.app, make sure to download it. It's completely free to use. It's on Android, it's on iOS, so you can attend all the live streams, ask questions and stuff. Or if you want to work with me, head over to kazra-.com and fill in the contact form. Thanks for watching.
欢迎来到 K 大侠行销聊天室，聊聊行销大小事。我是 K 大侠，
我是美凤姐。
OK， 我们的 slogan， 好，
来吧。
好，没的。好 ，K 大侠是李阳数位行销创办人，已经在这个数位行销领域超过20年。我们已经进入到 AI 行销的时代了。你还懂不懂？你还不懂用 AI 帮你做行销吗？我们现在把 AI 把它串成一整条龙的数位行销的一个整套系统，从 AI 网站、AI 写手，还有 AI 的 SEO， 甚至延伸到有内容以后再来做 AI 神小编，告别传统的经营模式，用 AI 无痛帮你转型自动化经营。数位行销要转型，找 K 大侠一定行。
行，现在很多人都会希望自己的产品能够有好口碑，疯狂发誓师，疯狂再去找就是认同感。但是你知道吗？你要做这件事情的时候呢，其实是要做专业的一个规划的。那美凤姐呢，执行口碑行销已经21年的时间了，长期合作的网红多个超过5000多位，服务过的客户呢也超过了4000多家。那我们专门在协助品牌客户在网络上有计划性的去把口碑规划好。如果你想要你的品牌真的有真实的体验口碑，而且这个口碑能够在网络上留下好的印记，那好的搜寻结果，请来找美凤，网红部落客找美凤，让你的产品一定红。
昂哦！现在我们进入光辉的10月了，所以已经要准备筹备年货大街的行销暖身了，对不对？
对我们来讲是这样，因为现在大家应该中秋节之战，
现阶段是中秋节之战，
大势已定了。
不过中秋节应该前面就已经准备好了，不可能现在来准备了。
现在大概因为大概中秋节就过几天嘛，那应该该定的该下该下订单的还有这几天的货运物流状况等等之类的，应该都是在这几天就被全部搞定了啦。然后呢，可能战果呢，每个老板应该自己心里面也有数了。那以我们来讲的话呢，我们其实接下来就会协助客户去往年货大街的方向去做布局。因为这个部分很多以品牌来讲啊，就是说中秋节是大月嘛。对，那其实年货大街才是大月。
对啊，年货大街是真的是大月，一年度最大月。
对，所以呢，等于是大家现在来讲的话，如果说他是有长期在去做操盘的话，可能他们的团队是不会停下来的。接下来他们就会参考他们在中秋档期的一个状态跟就是他们布局后的就是前后结果，那他们就会就是也开始会驱动团队去往年货大街的方向走。像台湾的，就是我们一般的年节了哈，大概都是会在可能2月啊、1月底啊，大概这个时间点嘛。所以你看现在是10月份，那10月份的话，你看10月份，然后这个光辉的10月假期这么多，对，非常少。
教师节连假，再来就是双十节，中间还有一个中秋节连假，再来双十节连假。
对，
也3个。
其实中间还是有一些节庆啊，比如说我们讲的什么双11啊、双12啊，或者是Merry Christmas 啊，那个圣诞节啦，这也都是可能在电商来讲的话是蛮主打的。但是如果说我们讲说台湾的节气上面来讲，还是以年货大街为主要。好，那它受惠的或是它启动的行业也相对来讲比较多。对，好，那因为你可能双11、双12，它可能生活消费啦等等会比较多一点点，但是跟年节有关，跟人跟人之间的链接，跟送礼，因为我们主要就是送礼嘛，还有就是家里边一些 年货要备齐啊，就是有些东西你就是每年都要吃它一趟的，每年都要吃它一次的。好像嗑瓜子啊这件事情，你不会每天在嗑瓜子。
对啊，有些真的是过年才会特别来采购的。
打麻将啊，这些行为，或是走春啊，聚会聚餐啊，或者是说可能我们讲的大扫除啊，或者是说除旧布新啊等等所以它联动到的行业产品的种类非常多元。
还有春酒啊、尾牙呀，对啊，
对，
这些大型活动。
对，所以它前后行销期，它甚至会有一些联谊嘛，等于是说在前在后。那他在做准备同时呢，他就顺便把双11、双12或者是Christmas 也一起也去做了一些可能布局规划等等。所以就现在的行销团队来讲为什么那么早就要跟大家谈年货这件事情是也给大家一个算是提早布局的一个概念呐。因为像我跟 K 大侠在开始录 Podcast 的前面几集吧我们好像就有去聊到就是节庆行销这件事情。
对。
想当然了，在这个时间点上面来讲我们也会就是按节奏的去让我们的客户先提早去思考因为他牵动到的一些可能团队人力啊，或者是他的商品设计啦，或者说他的包装啦或者他的相关行销周期啦，可能都会联动的一起去做一些调配嘛。
对。
然后呢今年应该讲说明年的春节年假也算长大概是有9天的时间。那但是年假的时间算晚如果说相较以往来讲的话，它是要到2月14号到2月22号这几天，也是到2月份的下半部了。
对，因为今年有闰月啦，所以就顺延的
比较晚一点点。
对。
那但是你看10月份，然后11、12等于你消费者在采购的时候，可能1月份他还是会按照他的习惯就开始采购了。所以时间点它虽然是比较晚一点点，但是呢，在时间轴上面来讲，消费者的一个采购行为来讲，他可能就已经提早会去做一些思考跟一些他的想法上面的一些规划了。好像我前2天才跟我一个做节目主持的朋友在聊天。他说他春酒档期早就被敲完了。
现在就已经被敲完了。
就已经被敲完了，因为就那个几天而已嘛。
对啊。
要的时间点就那几天，你现在不抢，什么时候抢？像我们家因为我们家现在都不煮年菜了嘛，都是外食了，
直接去订了。
对，10月份我们就订了。去订你想要
看不到，
你订不到。
对。
所以10月份开始，等于是有一些餐饮业，其实他们早就已经习惯性。
All right, I'm gonna go for a walk and try to start part 2 of my day.